Hi, Aslo Recaps here. Today I'm going to explain superhero film called Hulk. Before we get started, I challenge you. You have to click on subscribe and activate notification in less than 5 seconds. You got it? Alright, click the like button too and let's get started. Government genetics researcher David Banner is working to enhance human DNA. David conducts his own experiments since Colonel Thaddeus Thunderbolt Ross, his superior, forbids it. Bruce Banner, his son, is soon born to his wife Edith. David searches for a treatment after realizing Bruce inherited his mutant DNA. Ross stops David's study after learning about his experiments, so David sets up the gamma reactor at Desert Base in retaliation. David tries to kill Bruce because he thinks he's dangerous, but when Edith gets in the way, he mistakenly kills her. The trauma causes Bruce to forget his early memories. Ross takes David into custody and commits him to a mental health facility while placing Bruce, age 4, in foster care. Bruce takes on Mrs. Krenzler's last name after being adopted, and he grows up believing his biological parents are deceased. After 30 years, Ross's estranged daughter Betty Ross, Bruce's fiancée, is a bright scientist working at Berkeley Lab. The sinister Glenn Talbot, who represents the for-profit research firm Aetion, develops an interest in the scientist's work on nanomeds to develop regenerative troops for the military-industrial complex. In order to enter Bruce's life, David re-emerges as a janitor in the lab building. Ross, who is now a general, looks into the matter after growing concerned about Betty's safety around Bruce. Bruce prevents Harper, a co-worker, from getting hurt when a gamma sphere goes wrong. Betty is baffled when Bruce tells her he feels better than ever after waking up in a hospital bed since the nanomedicines killed everyone else and, unbeknownst to them, the radiation mixed with Bruce's changed DNA. David later runs into Bruce, confirming their connection and dropping hints about Bruce's mutation. He later uses Bruce's DNA samples in animal experiments. Bruce becomes the Hulk and smashes the lab as a result of his gamma-radiated DNA being activated by his mounting wrath at the tensions surrounding him. The following morning, Betty discovers Bruce comatose in his home with few memory of the previous evening. Before Betty finds David to confront him, Ross shows up and interrogates Bruce. Ross seizes the lab and puts Bruce under home arrest after hours of questioning. One evening, David contacts Bruce and outragedly confesses to mutating his 3 canines and forcing them on Betty. Talbot confronts Bruce while lamenting the devastation of the facility. While Bruce morphs, Talbot and Ross's MPs are hurt. The Hulk locates Betty at her cabin in the woods, protects her from the dogs, and then transforms back. The next day, Betty phones Ross. The army sedates Bruce and transports him to Desert Base. Ross is hesitant to assist Bruce since he believes he is destined to follow in David's footsteps, but Betty persuades Ross to let her try. When David exposes himself to the gamma sphere and nanomedicines, he develops the ability to merge with and absorb the characteristics of anything he touches. Ross is subdued by Talbot, who makes Betty go back home. Talbot fails to enrage Bruce and imprisons him after trying to take advantage of the Hulk's strength. David approaches Betty at her home and offers to turn himself in while requesting to talk to Bruce one final time. Talbot causes a change by causing a nightmare from Bruce's suppressed memories. Talbot tries to take a sample of the Hulk while he has him imprisoned in sticky foam, but the Hulk escapes. Ross takes over command when Talbot is killed by a backfiring explosive shell he fired. In order to reach San Francisco and find Betty, the Hulk breaks out of the base, engages the troops in combat in the desert. She persuades Ross to take her to the Hulk, making Bruce whole again. Ross is watching and threatening to burn Bruce and David alive as they converse at a base in the city. David has sunk to megalomania, craving Bruce's might to annihilate his foes. Bruce declines, but David bites into a high-voltage cable when Ross activates it, absorbs the energy, and transforms into a strong electrical creature. They are assumed dead after Ross orders a gamma charge bomb to end the conflict after Bruce transforms into the Hulk and defeats him. After a year, Ross continues to keep an eye on Betty because so many Hulk sightings are being recorded. Bruce is still alive and working as a camp doctor in the Amazon jungle. Soldiers try to seize their supplies from his camp as they take control of it. Bruce cautions their commander, "I'm becoming angry about you. You wouldn't enjoy me if I was upset." The Hulk yells angrily. And that was how the movie ended.